Today's explainer. I gotta tell you, I am absolutely thrilled about this one because we're embarking on a journey that, frankly, very few human beings have ever actually taken. We're gonna plunge straight down into the ocean's depths, taking this incredible 11,000-meter vertical dive. And as we go, we're gonna see exactly how drastically the environment and the, well, frankly, bizarre creatures that call it home changes as we get further and further away from the sun. So let's dive right in, literally, by looking at this whole water column side by side. We're starting way up at the warm, sunlit surface and going all the way down to the darkest, deepest trenches on the entire planet. Just take a look at that color gradient. It perfectly sets the stage for our descent, right? You can see how that vibrant, welcoming blue just slowly fades out into this absolute, almost terrifying pitch black.
Dive plan for this explainer. First, mapping the ocean layers. Second, the Epipelagic sunlight zone. Third, entering the Twilight zone. Fourth, the Bathypelagic dark zone. Fifth, the Abyssopelagic zone. And finally, number 6, the Hadal Trench bottom.
Let's start with Section 1, mapping the ocean layers. So, our very first depth marker is the top layer of the water column. This spans from the surface right down to about 200 meters. And you know, this is the part of the ocean we're all the most familiar with.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Epipelagic sunlight zone.
Scientifically speaking, this top layer is known as the Epipelagic zone. But the really crucial point to remember here is its nickname, the sunlight zone. This is literally the only layer of the entire ocean where sunlight actually fully penetrates the water. And because of all that amazing solar energy, this zone is just absolutely teeming with life, warmth, and great visibility. And thanks to that rich solar energy, we see a lineup of highly active, very familiar surface dwellers here. We've got the massive blue whale, playful dolphins, sea turtles, incredibly fast-moving tuna, the formidable white shark, and drifting jellyfish. All these creatures heavily rely on the visibility of these sunlit waters to hunt and, well, just survive. But you've got to wonder, what happens when we leave the light behind?
All right, we are now descending past the 200-meter mark, sinking deeper down toward 1,000 meters. At this point, you can really start to feel the water getting a lot colder, and the pressure is definitely beginning to mount.
Which brings us to Section 3, entering the Twilight zone.
We've officially entered the Mesopelagic zone, and honestly, its nickname tells you everything you need to know. The Twilight zone. The bright rays of the sun are fading incredibly fast here, and they're leaving behind just this dim, murky blue glow. Now notice how the cast of characters shifts as that light fades. We definitely still have some recognizable faces, crabs, octopus, shrimp, but we also start finding the swordfish with its long bill, the sleek cat shark, the wolf eel, and the truly incredible giant squid. These animals have specially adapted to hunt in the shadows. This twilight provides just enough light to make out a silhouette, which basically turns this whole zone into a really dangerous game of hide-and-seek.
Okay, crossing the 1,000-meter threshold now. We're continuing our long descent down to 4,000 meters. The light, it is completely gone now. The silence is heavy. We are truly entering the unknown.
Section 4, the Bathypelagic dark zone. You'll hear this layer called the midnight zone, or sometimes just the dark zone. Sunlight absolutely cannot reach this far down. No way. It is a world of permanent pitch-black darkness, and the water temperatures here are hovering right near freezing. To survive down here, you obviously can't rely on the sun anymore. You have to get incredibly creative. And to survive this dark, freezing ecosystem, marine life gets bizarrely creative. I mean, just look at the terrifying needle-like teeth of the Viperfish, or the glowing lure hanging directly in front of the anglerfish's massive mouth. It's essentially a built-in biological flashlight used to bait unsuspecting prey. We also see the massive mouth of the pelican eel, the strange flap-like fins of the Dumbo octopus, and even the giant sperm whale, which actually dives all the way down into this freezing darkness just to hunt. It's a brutal but totally fascinating ecosystem. Sinking even further, we're passing 4,000 meters, slowly drifting down towards 6,000. The physical weight of the water above us right now is becoming absolutely immense. That takes us to Section 5, the Abyssopelagic zone. You know, you might think nothing could possibly live down here, but life always seems to find a way.
Now, the life documented at this depth is strange and it is sparse. We see highly adapted bottom feeders and invertebrates, things like sea stars, the sprawling basket star, deep-sea shrimps, squids, the really leggy sea spider, and the very peculiar-looking sea pig. These creatures are perfectly designed to withstand the crushing weight of the ocean, mostly just scavenging for organic matter that falls from the miles of water above them.
And finally, we hit the last, deepest marker of our journey, from 6,000 meters all the way down to a staggering 11,000 meters. This is it, the very bottom of the Earth.
Section 6. The Hadal Trench Bottom. So the really crucial takeaway here is this. Even here, at the absolute bottom of the world, under immense and frankly deadly pressure, life miraculously survives. We find clusters of tube worms, starfish, and deep-sea cucumbers just resting on the trench floor. And swimming just above them are the pale, ghostly forms of the Hadal snailfish, the Leporide fish, and the cusk eel. These animals completely lack the vibrant colors of the surface dwellers because, well, in a world without any light whatsoever, color is completely useless.
When we put this all together, the contrast is just stark. We started at 0 to 200 meters, this vibrant, energetic world full of sunlight, fast-swimming turtles, dolphins, and tuna. And we traveled all the way down to 11,000 meters, a realm of pitch-black darkness, extreme pressure, deep trenches, slow-moving tube worms, and ghostly snailfish. It is an absolute masterclass in adaptation, proving how marine life has managed to conquer pretty much every single extreme on this planet.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this one thought. We've mapped the layers and we've identified a handful of the bizarre creatures that managed to survive the impossible pressures of the Hadal zone. But the truth is, the deep ocean remains largely unexplored. So if life can thrive in the deepest, darkest trenches we know of, what else is hiding down there in the abyss, just waiting to be discovered? Thank you so much for joining me on this descent today, and as always, keep exploring.